So I'm going to assume that you've been through a C&P exam. If you haven't, stand by for just a second here. I'm going to tell you what a C&P exam is like, okay? So I'm going to go into a C&P exam, just hypothetically, to talk about headaches, okay? And I'm going to take this from experience. I have actually done this. I have my own personal statement right here that I'm going to read pieces of it. I'm not going to give too much of this away. I don't need you copying and pasting from what I have, because my symptoms may be different than yours. But what I need you to realize is how much weight your personal statement can have when it comes to VA disability. Stand by. All right, so like I said, you're at the C&P exam, and the C&P examiner pulls out the DBQ, whether it be on paper, whether it be on the computer. They're going to sit behind a desk 99% of the time. They're going to ask you questions. Do you have regular headaches? Yes. Do you have migraine headaches? Yes. How bad are they? They're bad. Okay. That is not going to help your case. That right there, if they can prove a connection, I'm almost guaranteeing you right now, that's going to get you a 0% rating. You don't want a 0% rating. That happens to a lot of people. And I'll be fair with you, it happened to me. And I found out how I needed to get past that, right? And the way I got past that was not with any more new evidence except for my personal statement and an updated log of my symptoms. Plain and simple. That's all it took, right? So here's the problem, right? The problem is that medical records, in the true sense of medical records, you can be diagnosed with headaches. I'm diagnosed with migraines, okay? But does that tell anybody how bad those migraines are? Oh, they're chronic migraines. Oh, so they happen a lot. Great. Nice to have you. Oh, they're severe migraines. What is that defined, right? And this is where you need to start digging into the VA's documentation, 38 CFR, the M21 TAC 1. You need to know exactly how this is going to play out for you, right? Get the DBQs, download them, make sure you understand what they're going to ask you, and figure out how you're supposed to answer that, right? So what you can do is you can fill out a personal statement. That is your own account of how the symptoms affect your life on a daily basis. That's done through Form 21-4138, which is statement in support of a claim, okay? So what you want to do, I apologize, I'm having a really rough day with the voice today. The modern form is no longer the statement in support of a claim. It's a 21-10-10. Yeah, lay and witness statement. This can still be your own statement, okay? But you need to make sure that your own account is your personal statement. Whereas a buddy statement is, this person has said this about my condition. You are responsible for your own claims. You are responsible for making sure they understand the symptoms. Your buddy, your wife, your boss, your partner, your husband, your whatever, cousins, kids, nephews, uncles, the raisins that live next door, they don't know your symptoms like you do, okay? So you need to make sure that you're putting together a successful personal statement. And how do we do that? Connect the service to the symptom. Okay. You connect what happened in service to the symptom. Okay. If you're doing a secondary, you connect the primary to the secondary. All right. So in my instance, the PTSD, the mental health, that connects directly into my migraines. And it absolutely connects. I connected the dots for the VA so they didn't have to do it, right? And that's a really big deal. So in your letter, symptom by symptom impact, right? Every symptom, how it impacts you. What is the symptom? What is the frequency? What is the severity? And how does it affect your life, right? That's all you need to know, quite honestly. And then you need to prep for that C&P exam, right? The prepping for the C&P exam, is, you think about this, is the C&P exam is 99.9999999% going to be only based on DBQ. Like I said before, they're not going to ask you, or at least an average C&P examiner in my experience is not going to ask you what your symptoms are like and how it affects you. They're going to say, anything else that you want to add to this? Do you have anything else to say about this? Do you have anything that you would like to say? Do you want to expand on that? Okay, those questions are not going to help you. So write your big personal statement, have it ready, read that thing over and over and over to make sure it's, one, factual. Please don't commit fraud. You create problems for all the rest of us when you do that. Make sure it's factual. Make sure it's connected. Make sure every symptom's gone through one by one. Okay? I'm going to read you pieces of my own statement around headaches because I want you to get a feel for how we're going to present this to the VA for consideration when they go to rate your disability. We're going to talk about mine. My rating went up drastically when I turned in this personal statement as my supplemental evidence. I went from 0 to very good very quickly. Like 3 months is all it took. So I started out with, I'm writing this statement in support of my claim for an increased rating regarding my headaches. I think it's important that I share what these headaches are truly like and how they've negatively affected my life, both personally and professionally. So right there, I'm saying, hey, this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you that I deserve an increase for my headaches. I'm going to tell you what my headaches are like. I'm going to tell you how it affects me socially and professionally. Okay? On an average of X many times per month, again, I told you I'm not going to get into super details. On an average of X many times per month, a severe headache takes away parts of my day. Now, I'm going to stop there, but I'm going to say that my headaches come and go at random times, man. There's some continuity to when they happen, but it's not continuous continuity. So, this is really critical for you to understand, is that on an average of X many times per month, that's where I lead this at. A severe headache takes away part of my day, right? And then I add that the onset is often sudden. And the pain, it's debilitating, completely debilitating. It includes sensitivity to light, sensitivity to sound, sensitivity to movement. There's a lot of these things, right? And I put during these episodes, the only way I've found relief is to retreat to a dark, quiet place, lay down, and try and go to sleep. I've tried meds. I've tried this. I've tried that. The migraines have had a profound and lasting effect on my life. On a regular basis, I am forced to miss out on work or social activities. Now, it doesn't mean I'm missing out on a whole day of work. It means that, and in my specific case, I have told my boss in no uncertain terms, I've got to log out. I've got the worst headache. I got to go lay down. And luckily, my boss has been accommodating to that. But I've also been limited in my career growth because of it. So spell all those things out, right? Towards the end of this letter, I say, listen, the constant threat of a migraine has not only limited my career opportunities, but also caused a great deal of social anxiety. I'm afraid to go out places sometimes. If I even have a hint of a headache coming on, that's it. I'm not going. I'm canceling. I'm staying home. I'm prepping for that headache. It's going to suck. I'm going to go lay down. I'm going to get up a couple hours later and I'm going to feel a little bit better, right? The last statement that I put in here, there's 2 sentences at the very end, and I want you to understand these. My condition has prevented me from enjoying a normal quality of life. That statement has a lot of psychological advantages to it in that, first of all, it's accurate. It keeps me from having what I would consider a normal quality of life. Second of all, It presents the fact that I am not normal because of these headaches, which brings me to more than a 0% disability rating. Hope you're catching on to that, because that's going to be very important. The last line I put in there, and you can tell me I'm crazy. I've had other people tell me I'm nuts for this and that it makes absolutely no difference. And I think that's a bunch of bull crap. And I'm going to tell you right now, what I put in that last sentence, I think does nothing but positive influence on what I just put into the whole statement. Now, I left out a bunch of stuff in here, right? Because you don't need to know my own personal stuff, because I want you to be able to write your own personal statement. But very last line, thank you for your time and consideration. That's it. That's it. I thank the rater for the job they're doing. I thank the C&P examiner for the job they're doing. If they're a crappy C&P examiner, I thank them anyway. And then I go back and I make my own adjustments afterward, right? It's frustrating. It's very frustrating, right? I fought with the VA over my headaches over and over and over. This is probably my third personal statement in support of my headaches. And until I figured out that I needed to put in clarity, detail, outcome, right? Until I figured out that I needed to put in the symptoms, the frequency, the severity, and the impact. Until I figured all that out and how to put it into my own personal statement, I would have stayed at 0. Listen, I say all that because at the end of the day, what I submitted for this supplemental increase was a personal statement and an updated headache log that looked just like the last 3 years of headache logs. So that I know the headache log didn't have much to do with it. That statement got me where I am. And your statement can potentially get you to the level that you believe that you're supposed to be at. It'll at least get you to the level that the VA can prove and connect that you are at. And that's what we really want for all veterans, right? Everybody should be able to get to the level that their life is affected based on the benefits that you're based on the criteria given us by the federal government. And that's all there is to it. So listen, thank you for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, send this to all your friends. I greatly appreciate everybody. There's a truck driving by my house. Greatly appreciate everybody that's, sticking around, becoming members, helping watch these videos to the end, because every single bit of that helps me get the word out to more and more veterans. And the ones that are supporting me financial through memberships, thank you so much. I am using that money to increase the quality of my videos. I'm using that money to make sure that I'm giving you the stuff that you need, and I'm dedicating pieces of time to this. And then I'm going to probably go out and take a poll on which, I don't know if I'll do local or national, but either local or national charity that I can give some money to at the end of every year. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again. Take care of one another. See ya.